Hi folks, how you doing? It's James, JT at the movies. I'm back with you again finally for another pickups update video. It's been a long time. I've not done one of these since August, but I've picked up quite a bit that I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm going to try a new way of doing this. I did the following unboxing, which was the last video on the channel, and I really enjoyed sort of facing the camera forward and letting the physical media take centre stage. So I'm probably going to cut to that angle in a minute and go through the usual DVDs, Blu-rays, boutiques and 4Ks and sort of do it in the normal order, but just let the physical media take the center stage and then come back to you at the end. You'll have to let me know if that works or not down below in the comments. But should we jump into what you came for, and I'll show you some DVDs first. First one to show you is Keanu Reeves in Street Kings. Don't know anything about this film, but the cast and the premise sold me, so I'm looking forward to watching this one soon. The next one to show you is The Devil Wears Prada. I've seen this film before, but didn't have it in the collection and fancied rewatching it soon, so I picked it up when I saw that it was only £2. The next one to show you is the latest Liam Neeson effort. I'm really glad that this one's come out on physical media. I was worried that it wasn't going to do for a bit of a time there. It was announced earlier in the year and then pulled at the last minute. But this is Marlowe, and this is a reimagining of a character, I believe, that was in books and films back in the 40s and 50s. And it's a bit of a sort of like a whodunit film noir type thing. But I've yet to watch it, but I am looking forward to watching it. The next one is Jackie Chan's latest effort. This is a film where he plays a retired stuntman, and there's a scene that's gone sort of viral on TikTok that Laura showed me, actually, where he's essentially reacting to clips from his old films, and it's quite emotional. But I'm really excited to see it. I'll watch anything with Jackie Chan in it. In fact, just off camera to the right there, I've got pretty much most of Jackie Chan's filmography in its own little dedicated section. So, yeah, I'm more than happy to add this one to the collection, and me and Laura will be sitting down to watch this one soon. Picked this one up for 50p in the charity shop that's local to my work. It's a classic film starring Cary Grant and Katharine Hepburn. I've not seen it before, but that's Bringing Up Baby. I picked this up after a recommendation when I spotted it on my holiday. It's Robert Mitchum in The Night of the Hunter. Looking forward to watching this one. Do you know, I'm a sucker for a good sort of drama comedy like this, and I really had a great time with this. I love Robert De Niro, of course, and I absolutely adore Anne Hathaway, and not ashamed to say I have more than a little bit of a crush on her. She's just superb as Anne Hathaway. And I've always enjoyed this film, so I picked it up on DVD when we were on holiday in Devon. I know nothing about this one, but I've recently learnt that it is actually a film series. The premise looked interesting, and it's got Paul Walker in it, and I always enjoyed his films when he put them out. So I decided I'd take a gamble on this one for £1. We'll see if I like it, and we'll see if it's worth picking up the sequels. I thought I had this one in the collection, but I didn't, and so I picked it up when I came across it. Thankfully, I've got my collection catalogued on my phone now, so I know what I've got. But I saw it, I was like, oh, I've got that, and then something just sort of told me to go just double check. And anyway, I haven't got it, so I picked it up. I'm looking forward to revisiting this one. I decided I'd finally complete my G.I. Joe movie collection with Snake Eyes because it was reduced to £3. I've probably still paid too much for it at that point, but I am a completist and I've got the first two in the collection, so I was waiting for it to drop in price. I was happy to pick it up for this price. When I went and stayed with my mum and her husband over the summer, they live in a beach town and there's lots of charity shops on the front, and I picked this one up in one of the shops there. I've heard nothing but great things about this film. The premise and the cast definitely sold me, and I'm looking forward to sitting down and watching it soon. Picked this one up to go towards completing my my James Dean collection. I can't remember what the third one is now, but I think there's only one other film that I need. I've got Rebel Without a Cause, and I've got obviously Easter of Eden now, so I can't remember what the third film is, but I know there's only one other sort of main feature film that he did, and then that's basically his collected works. This was great. Bug, I absolutely loved this one. I picked this one up after William Friedkin died. And again, Ashley Judd is one of my favourite actresses, as is Michael Shannon. And it was really just sort of grimy and creepy and just left you feeling unsettled. But everybody put in an absolute shift in this. I would highly recommend checking it out. I really wanted to like this one. But I just couldn't get on board with it at all. It just for whatever reason, just didn't gel with me. And I saw it through, but it was really hard work. So I don't know that this is one I'll be revisiting. I might not even keep it in the collection, to be fair. I picked this one up after seeing it recommended on one of the many Facebook groups that I'm in where we talk about movies, and the premise and the idea of it all sold me. The cast is stellar as well. Obviously Sharon Stone, William Baldwin, Tom Berenger. You can't go far wrong with that cast. So I'm really looking forward to watching this version. I haven't seen this one since I was a kid, but I'm really excited to finally have it in the collection and to check it out again soon. I absolutely love pretty much anything Humphrey Bogart put his name to. Laura bought this one for her mum, but her mum had also had the same idea and been out and bought it as well. So knowing that I'm a film collector and that I had an interest in seeing this, Laura says, well, you might as well add it to the collection. So for free, I got Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I'll probably check this one out in the fullness of time. I'm in no rush to watch it, but I do want to watch it at some point. So like I say, it'll be nice to have it there to check out. Again, a film that should have been in the collection for a lot longer than it has been. I've seen this one before, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. A really great film. Robin Williams, obviously Gene Hackman, as well as a whole host of others. It's just hilarious, is this film, The Birdcage. This one looks really funny from the trailers, so I picked it up. I love Jennifer Lawrence as well. I think she's a great actress. Loved her in The Hunger Games and House at the End of the Street and Don't Look Up, and loads of other bits and bobs that I've seen her in over the years, and she looks quite funny in this as well, quite easy on the eyes as well, so there's no complaints there from this bloke. So yeah, I'll be watching at some point soon. No hard feelings. I'll probably be watching this one without Laura though, as she doesn't really get on with this sort of comedy. And then a completely different change of pace. I'll quote the fantastic John Flickinger over at the Flick Pick. He said when he gets to having a midlife crisis, he's going to sort of revert back to a childlike state and just watch Disney movies. And I can fully relate, even though I'm not at a midlife crisis yet. I've probably got, I don't know, hopefully about 10 years to go before I'm there. But I'm going to do exactly the same, except it'll be Scooby-Doo movies for me. I grew up on Scooby-Doo. I absolutely love and adore Scooby to this day. This is the latest installment in the direct-to-video movies. Am I expecting it to be good? Absolutely not, but of course I wanted to check it out. And buying it on physical media as well helps, supports the medium as well. Anyone who follows me on my Instagram will have seen that I've got this one. This is a Steven Seagal movie that I've not seen yet, called Into the Sun. As I said on Instagram, I went out with my money but left my taste at home. And it's the same with this one. They were both there, and I thought, do you know what? Yeah, I'll pick that up. Out for the kill. Not seen this one before, so far as I'm aware. I may have been subjected to it when my dad was still about, and he used to watch all these sort of movies. It's, these sort of films really are all right just for switch your brain off and watch some no-nonsense action film. I mean, 90s Seagal is great, but anything past that really is dire. These were 50p a go, so I thought, do you know what? Why not? Another surprising omission from the collection was this one, and then when I saw it in a charity shop that was on a 3 for £1 deal, I thought, I'll double check if I have that, and I don't, so True Grit. It was the premise and the cast that sold me on this one. Music of the heart. I don't really know much about it as I've never seen it before. Laura wanted to watch this one, so when I saw it in a charity shop on that same deal, I decided that I'd pick it up. I picked this one up as well just for the cast. It sounded really intriguing, but I've never seen it before and can't really offer any commentary on it. This one used to be my father-in-law's, but he got the box set with all 3 parts in, so he gave me this one. I've got the first one, don't mind the first one, but I don't think I've ever seen this one. This is my favourite Pixar film of all time, and I surprisingly didn't own it in the collection. This was my mother-in-law's copy. She'd upgraded to Blu-ray because they've recently got a Blu-ray player, so they've been and bought all the favourites again. And we were sort of clearing out their spare room over the summer because we've turned it into a little library for her because she is to books what I am to DVDs and Blu-rays. So we've built her a little library there, and she sorted out all her DVDs, and this was one of the doubles that she had because she'd upgraded. And so I said, well, do you know what? I'll have it from you. So there we go. Finally got Wall-E in the collection. Again, this was another one of the in-laws. They had this one 3 times because they didn't really keep a track of their movie collection like, we all do. And then every time she'd see something, cheap and cheerful in Morrison's or wherever or Asda, she'd be like, oh, I'll get that and we'll watch it. And then they'd watch it and then it'd end up in a cupboard and they'd forget that they had it and rinse, repeat and whatever. So we found like 3 copies of this and 2 copies of Wall-E and, about 5 copies of Interstellar, I think. Hilarious. But I didn't have this one in the collection, so I took this one. This one, again, was one of the in-laws that they got several times. This was Laura's late grandma's favourite film, and some of the music from it, Born Under a Wandering Star, was actually played at Laura's granny's funeral. So I've naturally seen this film with the family, as it means a lot to them. But I didn't have it in my collection, and obviously it has Mr. Clint Eastwood in it as well. And I'm well and truly on the mission of making sure that I have every film in his filmography in my collection. So when there was a spare copy there, it only made sense that we keep that, so that Laura's got a version she can watch here, and that I've got it in the Clint Eastwood collection. I loved this film. This film was bloody amazing. Me and Laura did an Alfred Hitchcock and a James Stewart sort of greatest hits marathon. We watched the 4 films that they collaborated on, and then we picked 3 or 4 films from each man's sort of filmography outside of the collaborations, and made a weekend of it, one rainy weekend over the summer. Now, we did vlog it, and I've just not got round to editing it yet, so you will see that at some point on the channel, and you'll see mine and Laura's full review as part of that. But I went into this one thinking, I've got to watch it because it's a Jimmy Stewart classic, and when you say Jimmy Stewart, you know, it's one of the ones that comes up with, like, you know, Anatomy of a Murder and, you know, Mr. Smith and Wonderful Life and all those sort of things, and Harvey's one that's mentioned up there. But I don't know why, something was just telling me that I wasn't going to get on with this film. Oh, I laughed, I cried, I felt things. What a sensational film. Really, really great stuff. Fantastic. If you've not watched it, get this watched. The premise and the cast sold me on this one, The Clearing. I've yet to sit down and watch it, but I'm sure it'll be a fun little thriller when I do. I'm going to be watching this one with Phil at some point, and I think we're going to do it as part of maybe a time travel special, either on my channel or on our podcast. And we just thought that this seemed like a really, really funny film to watch as part of that. So I'm hanging off watching this one until me and Phil have both got a free evening and we're both in the mood for it. But I'm excited to watch it. I haven't seen this one since I was a kid, but it's Rene Russo in Buddy. I'm going to look forward to rewatching this one again soon, I should think. Again, another one that I thought I had in the collection, but then when I checked, I don't, so I picked it up for £1 in CEX when we were down in Devon. It was the premise that sold me on Fish Tank. I've not watched it yet. The cast are also a great-looking cast as well, so I'm sure that I'll enjoy this and get something out of it. Never even heard of this film before, but how could I say no to that cast, and for 50p as well. Folks who know me know that I'm not really a TV guy. In fact, I don't really do watching TV series at all. I much prefer the sort of the shorter medium of a film, and the sort of the in and out and get the story done sort of thing, rather than dragging it on for 10 plus hours over how many weeks. I've never got on with that particular sort of serial method of storytelling. That being said, I am definitely going to give this a go because it's got my my main man, Mr. Harrison Ford, in it in the lead, and anything that man produces, I will watch. The last DVD here to show you now, and this is Ben Affleck in a Robert Rodriguez film called Hypnotic. Missed this one at the cinema, but the idea and the premise of the film intrigued me, so I've picked up the DVD. I've not heard great things, but I want to make my own mind up, and I usually enjoy Ben Affleck in his films, whether he's acting or directing or both. Now let's have a look at some Blu-rays, shall we? So the first of the Blu-rays now, Wes Anderson's latest. I went for the special edition of this that comes with the art cards and everything with it, and the nice little case. I bloody loved this film. I know it's divided opinions really across the sort of the film watching community. I know my good buddy Sam Glendenning, he really didn't care for this one at all, but I thought this was a return to form for Wes Anderson, sort of probably his best since Grand Budapest in my opinion. I also have the feeling that the Tom Hanks role might have been written for Bill Murray, and that potentially controversies surrounding Bill Murray maybe stopped that from taking place at the moment. I don't know, I'm just speculating, but it did cross my mind when it was playing in the cinema. It just sort of felt like he was maybe a little bit out of place, but then again, he might have just wanted to work with Wes Anderson, because I mean, who wouldn't want to be in a Wes Anderson film? It was quirky, it was funny, it had heart, it made you laugh. It was everything you'd expect from a Wes Anderson film, and I think he executed it perfectly. Picked this one up last week. I haven't watched it yet and didn't watch it in the cinema. I was going through a few things when this came out. I'd just recently suffered a bereavement and had some medical concerns and whatever else, and was advised by close friends and family that this film would trigger some nerves. So I've yet to sit down and watch it, but I will be watching it these winter months, and we'll probably report back on it as well. I loved the first Guardians of the Galaxy film, quite enjoyed the second one. I'm hoping that this one sends them off in style. I bloody loved this one. You might remember back in July when I did my 30-day movie challenge that I watched this one down in London when we went down to see Billy Joel. I watched it on the train down there and then finished it off in the hotel while it was on Amazon Prime. I had such a good time with it that when they announced it was coming out on Blu-ray, I thought I've got to get it. Now this is an American import and it didn't specify whether or not it was region B compatible, so I did take a bit of a punt on it because I spent 30 quid to import this. Which for some of you might think that's just lunacy, but it's me and it's what I do. But I'm happy to report back that it is a Warner Brothers MGM disc and it seems to be region free, or at least region B compatible as well. It looks fantastic as well, and I had a great time rewatching this the other night as well. You don't need a Blu-ray collection when you've got family. And speaking of family, I'm glad to add this one to it. This is Fast and Furious 10. I've yet to watch this one. I missed this one in the cinema, but I'm gonna do a catch up of all of them. I think I fancy a run through of that series and just watch some dumb fun movies. So I'm gonna get this one watched as part of that. Picked this one up from Trade Me In Leeds again. In the wake of his passing, I picked up William Friedkin's Sorcerer. I love this film, and for years I've had it on DVD, and then when I saw that the Blu-ray had been reduced to £4 with the really nice slipcover, and I love this series of slipcovers, I thought to myself, well, do you know what? Now's a good time to future-proof it some more and upgrade. Bought this one lunchtime in Leeds because the premise and, again, the cast sold me. It's The Little Stranger. This was one of my most anticipated films of the year. I love Batman. I love The Flash. They are my two favourite superheroes. And I love Michael Keaton's Batman. I grew up on that Batman. Those first four films with Keaton in the first two were on repeat in our house. It's a wonder I didn't wear the videotapes out that we had. We didn't have them properly. We had them taped off the TV. And then one Christmas, my nan and granddad bought me the original 4 on DVD, which I've still got in this room somewhere. As like a bit of a display piece because they were my first proper DVDs. But yeah, I was so hyped for the return of Michael Keaton. It was unreal. The film lived up to it largely for me. There were a few creative choices that I wouldn't have made, but I also understand that the director, Andy Muschietti, kind of had his hands tied when the studio decided that they were going to reboot the DC universe and they're not sure who they're keeping on, and so they'd done this whole thing to sort of set Michael Keaton's Batman up to be sort of the replacement for Ben Affleck and whatever else, and I think they were going to do Batman Beyond and Batgirl, and all that got shelved, didn't it? So it kind of goes in a direction towards the end of this film that personally I wouldn't have taken it in, but just to see Keaton back in costume and back in the classic Wayne manner and the music and everything for that sort of 40 minutes of the film that he's in it, yeah, real nostalgia trip. And I actually found that this played better a second time at home, and that also the VFX, which really looked ropey in the cinema, and the director assures us that it's a creative choice. I'm thinking, yeah, pull the other one, it's got bells on. But the VFX actually looked better to my eye at home on a smaller screen than they did blown up on the 1,000-inch screen or whatever it is in the cinema. Another one to add to the Liam Neeson collection, one that I thought I had but didn't have. I'm going to look forward to rewatching this one. I haven't seen this one for a very, very, very long time, but it's Liam Neeson in The Grey. The last regular Blu-ray release to show you here. This one's The Forest with Natalie Dormer. I just picked this one up literally this afternoon, about 10 minutes before filming this video. The premise sold me. Here's some boutique Blu-rays for you. We're now into the boutique Blu-rays, folks, with an Arrow Academy pickup here, and that is Cinema Paradiso. I've heard nothing but great things about this film, and this is one of those films that I've sort of often read and am told that it's one that you must have in the collection to watch at some point if you're a film buff. So for £4.50, I wasn't going to pass this up. I picked this one up because Gene Hackman's in it, and I love Gene Hackman, and again, he's somebody that I'm working towards completing the filmography of. I'm nice and slow and steady with that one, though, as you don't come across a lot of his sort of, I don't know if I want to say more obscure films, but, his lesser-known works as often as you do the likes of The Firm or Superman or, whatever else. So I picked this one up when I was on holiday because he's in that. For the Arrow collection here, and this is one that I watched on Netflix with Laura about a month ago and had a really great time watching it. The film sort of sets it up as though it's going in one direction, and then halfway through, bam, you're straight into another story, and it's like, wow. Did not see that coming, and then everything sort of resolves itself at the end, and I thought it was really clever. I would thoroughly recommend checking this out on Netflix if it's still there, and if you're a physical media guy like me, get the Arrow picked up. Put this one in with the boutique ones. I don't know whether it is really or not, but it's a Studio Canal release, and it is the brand new restoration and the remaster of Cutthroat Island. I've never seen this before, and it feels like the sort of film that I would absolutely bloody love. So I'm going to be getting that watched again. The thing I love about winter is that there's not that sort of urge to go out and be in the sunshine and do whatever, so there's a lot of cold, rainy nights in, and it's generally the time of year I get to watch the most movies. And, you know, me and Laura will just cuddle up and get a couple of movies watched tonight, and it's great. So I'm going to be getting through so much of this stuff in the next few weeks and months, and it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to this one. I hope it's as good of a swashbuckling adventure as the cover and the synopsis are giving the vibes that it is. I picked this one up on Monday. I wasn't leaving the house. I was determined. I've been on holiday this week and some much needed R&R, and I was determined I wasn't going anywhere. I was going to put my feet up. I was going to make a dent in the watch pile and best laid plans and all that sort of thing. I saw that this had come out and was like, I'll tell you what, Laura, I'll give you a lift to work and I'll swing by HMV on the way back, and picked this up. And it's the HMV that I've performed in a few times, so I was in there having a chat to the manager and catching up and whatever else. And then on the way home from that, I got called and asked if I would come and do a gig on my night off as well. So I ended up going out and doing a gig, but I got home and watched this first. I bloody loved this. This has become one of my favourite watches of the year, and I can't think it'll be long before I'm going back to re-watch this one. Martin Scorsese does black comedy, and it's just bloody fantastic. And you can see, or at least I could see in this, a lot of the precursors for things that he'd go on to use in things like Wolf of Wall Street, and there were sort of similar sort of vibes that I got from certain scenes. The ensemble cast in this is great. It's an 80s who's who, and it just goes to show you, doesn't it, that Scorsese always attracts the best people to work with. This is a really fantastic edition, and I would thoroughly recommend picking it up. The next one to show you is the 101 Black Label release of Christopher Nolan's Following. If you look at the previous video on my channel, you'll see an unboxing of this where I show you everything that's inside it. This is a really great edition, and there are still some out and about, so I would get this picked up if you're a Nolan fan, as I don't know whether there'll be a standard release down the line. Just arrived in the post today. This is the 101 Black Label Steelbook edition of Memento, Christopher Nolan's second film. I'm going to do an unboxing on this and get it up before the weekend so that folk can see what's in it before it comes out officially on Monday. But I'm really happy to have this in my collection 5 days earlier than I should do. I look forward to reporting back on the quality of it all when I unbox it. And finally, just a couple of 4Ks to take us home. The first one is The Dark Tower, starring Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba. I've heard that this isn't a fantastic adaptation of the books, but apparently it plays better if you've not read the books, and I haven't. I'm also a huge fan of both of these gents, so I'm hopeful that I'll get something out of it. And then the last one to show you, and I think I've saved the best until last, really. This is the Batman Mask of the Phantasm 4K Steelbook. I missed the UK one, so I imported this from France. Everything is just the same as the English version. The only difference being is that the information on the J card, which is folded up neatly inside, is in French rather than English. But the special features, the artwork, the craftsmanship, if you like, of the steelbook, it's all exactly the same. And I was able to get it, no problems whatsoever. So thoroughly happy to have this in the collection. This looked beautiful when I watched it. I'm not normally somebody who can tell that much of a difference with 4K, but having had this on DVD and a grainy sort of 4:3 aspect ratio DVD for years and years and years and years, it was night and day difference with this, and this is the only way to watch this film going forward. So definitely get it picked up if you can, but if not, 23rd of this month, 23rd of October, the standard sort of Amaray 4K is coming out. Get it picked up. It's really great that studios sort of, at this late stage of physical media's life, are still putting out great editions like this, and I think we've really got to support them if we want to keep them coming out. There's been lots of sort of talk talk about whether like things like Indiana Jones is going to get a Blu-ray release, and I know yesterday it got announced that it was going to get one, but we've seen things like Barbarian and See How They Run not get them, and sort of more and more the gaps are getting longer, and you know they're doing limited runs of things and whatever. We've got to support physical media is what I'm saying, guys. So yeah, get out there, and if you can afford to get it bought, then do it, and let's support the thing that we love. So there you are, folks. That's been my Blu-ray, DVD and 4K update for August, September and part of October 2023. Sorry that it's been a while. I've just had a lot on, and I don't always get the time to sort of sit down and make these videos to the quality that I would like to make them to for you. If you've enjoyed it, drop it that all important thumbs up. It lets me, it lets YouTube know to keep making videos like this. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please think about subscribing. Of course, it means the world to me, but helps my channel to grow as well. And don't forget to get involved in the comments as well. Let's have a natter down below and have a bit of a catch up. It's been a short while since I've spoken to a lot of you. Take care of yourselves, folks, and I will see you real soon for some more videos. Bye for now.